Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of Eye of the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful, Rabbit Hole, King Dio, Lauren Frey, Grim Clover, Internet Bloodsports, and the upcoming Jaw of the Dragon. People really, well, people, quotation mark, quotation mark, quotation mark, quotation mark, people do not like it when you talk about how Castlevania isn't actually an anime. That is something I've noticed since the very inception of this show. Like, even back when the first season was like 4 episodes long and there wasn't really a whole lot to it. They didn't even get to the castle in season 1, as I recall. Like, people were really adamant about like classifying Castlevania as an anime. So much so that I honestly think I might have had the impression it was. But like, upon doing a little bit of research and like seeing who was behind it, like the creative team and stuff like that, what the show is about, like that's obviously not the case. And I kind of like denounced it as like an anime. Like I've been classifying it as cartoon ever since. But it seems like among fans, this thing is like religiously defended as an anime, right? Like a serious animated, like aimed at anime series directed at adults. Like, if you don't appreciate Castlevania, oh man, you're just not mature enough. You're just a religious bigot who believes in God and actually reads the Bible. Like, you're just an ignorant fuck. Like, that's the mindset I think a lot of people are in when talking about the Castlevania show. And in fact, like, I was actually asked, are you religious in regards like the Castlevania thing? The answer is no, but I have a very, very, very deep disdain for the atheist community. I fucking hate them, right? Like, people talk about crazy Christians. I talk about like crazy atheists who absolutely exist. I think they're pseudo-intellectuals who think they're smarter than other people simply because they don't believe in God. They don't really do anything valuable. They don't really contribute to society. Like, there is no, like, they don't offer well-reasoned arguments or really have a lot of insight into culture or history or philosophy even. Like, I can't stand them, right? Especially since they seem to be so adamant on blaming religion for all of society's problems, which is not true in my experience. I really grew to hate these kind of people, right? And it's that contempt for that community, that demographic, that I see it in Castlevania. It's the same kind of mindset of saying that, like, oh man, I don't believe in God. I believe in science. Like, this weird fanatical attempt at like trying to replace religion or like establish religion with science, right? Basically trying to like present yourself as like use scientific reasoning as like a religious argument when like there's nothing scientific about your process and about your claims about the world or about your ideas. You kind of see this like often. You see this all the time if you actually watch clips of Castlevania on YouTube, when like characters are talking about like, oh man, like people think that vampires are afraid of crosses, but in reality they just don't like objects getting too close to their face, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Like really, it seems like I've seen people defend this as being like, oh, they're coming up with their own original world, they're coming up with their own ideas. But like, if they were doing that, they would just focus on those ideas. They would not be like spending so much time dealing with issues that really have nothing to do with a show that should be about hunting vampires, right? Like, it reminds me a little bit about like how Avatar: The Last Airbender is kind of hyped among Western audiences as being like one of the best animated shows ever made, when really it's not even all that notable, honestly. Like, I think among the anime world in particular, like it really can't compete with anything, like animation wise, when it comes to like storytelling or characters or like covering dark topics. Like, I remember like watching Avatar again around the same time Attack on Titan came out, and I really found myself like really strongly preferring Attack on Titan because of its like because of how it depicts like the government's reaction to the invasion, how like people like Aaron rose up to the challenge, how like so many people died. Like the stakes in Attack on Titan were real. Like the stakes in Avatar, they were never real, right? Like oh the chosen one will save us. It's a generic basic bitch like fantasy story, like at its core, with no real depth to it, with no real interesting characters or like any real memorable moments, right? Like Attack on Titan, Avatar: The Last Airbender is just pure shit. Star Wars is just pure shit. Like I think Batman the Animated Series is pure shit. The Batman IP as a whole is pure shit, or Cape shit as a whole is pure shit. Like Western properties in general just cannot compete with the Japanese. So much so that Star Wars, ripped a lot of elements from classic samurai movies and stuff like that. Like who are our best directors? Like basically just a bunch of people who like try to tell you that like, oh man, isn't this dialogue quirky and funny? Like, no, it's not. like Tarantino sucks. All of those guys are terrible. Like I fucking hate all of them. Like it is shocking to me how much more compelling Japanese media is in general than their Western counterparts. Like obviously we talk about manga and video games a lot on this channel, but I think that also extends to like film and stuff like that, which I don't think a lot of people really discuss at all, because like a lot of their films are lower budget, but they have better actors. They have more interesting ideas. There's like more soul to them and stuff like that. Like I'll have to like go down that rabbit hole of talking about like Japanese film and TV shows at some point. But like what seems to be happening with Castlevania in particular, or with Western properties in general, is that they're aware that everyone who thinks critically about shows, who thinks critically about like creative works in general, understands that the Japanese media is superior. Like they've tried replacing it with Korean shit, they've tried replacing it with their own stuff, but it's not really working. They're trying to subvert these industries, but like it's so entrenched. Like there's so much of it, like it's really difficult to do. Like if they tried to make like My Hero Academia woke, for example, like people would drop the series immediately. Like it would just end, right? Like people would stop reading it, they'd vote against it, and on the polls that Shonen Jump has, and like it'd be seen as a reminder that you can't fuck with the audience of these properties. Like they're trying, but it's not working. So one of the ways they're trying to subvert anime is that they're trying to classify stuff like Castlevania as being anime when it's really not. There are a handful of series like this that I've seen, but like none of them really have, none of the ones that I'm aware of at least, have had the same kind of like weird fanatical fan base around them. The reason they want Castlevania to be seen as an anime is so that it's taken more seriously. So people like me don't just come out and say like, it's not an anime, so I'm not going to watch it. Like, because we know what they're trying to do. They're trying to like infiltrate this industry and make it worse. And anyone who's defending this, anyone who supports Castlevania, is enabling them. Like, if you like Castlevania, the Netflix cartoon, the animated series, like the anime-esque cartoon, like show, like that means you hate anime, you hate anime fans, you hate the anime industry, you hate the Japanese, you're a fucking racist, and like you don't care about quality in your media at all. Like you're blindly defending this product because I don't know, like the internet told you to. Like I've seen Angry Joe like praise this show as like the best video game adaptation ever made, when like I know very well he's never played a Castlevania game, right? He'll never play a Castlevania game. Like Angry Joe is Angry Joe is just like a complete pleb, right? He doesn't know anything. Like anyone supporting this is anyone who seriously supports or defends Castlevania really needs to reevaluate their lives. They really need to like think about why they're defending this show, why they're defending this property, why they're defending this creators, and why specifically they're so adamantly denying the fact that it isn't an anime. Like, I don't see what's so difficult about acknowledging a show is not made by Japanese creators.